suicidal thoughts lately?
Have you been feeling manic, perhaps?
You may have been watching the last 2 weeks of Monday Night Raw, and even last week's Smackdown. But don't worry, there's a cure. Because this week's Smackdown was actually decent.
It was. It wasn't bad.
We don't have anything overly negative to say.
David Otunga actually made me chuckle.
We enjoyed Smackdown. So get rid of those suicidal thoughts. And let's talk about what happened this week on the Smackdown Rundown. We open up with finding out that apparently Alberto Del Rio is going to be facing Randy Orton later on in the night. Randy Orton making his way to the building.
Randy Orton ain't giving a fuck.
No.
But Del Rio says, you'll give a fuck.
Well,
once I break your arm.
Yeah. Del Rio tries to insult people, and it doesn't work very well.
No, he was just talking about, because Orton made mention that he wasn't thinking about Del Rio because
he's focused on Lesnar.
He's focused on Lesnar, and either way, it's only going to take one RKO for him to beat either one of them. And then Del Rio said, how easy will it be for Randy Orton to do an RKO to Brock Lesnar if Del Rio breaks his arm first?
That's true. So that's a match we have later on. We had Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan come out and talk about how SmackDown is their show. And
it's them versus the whole damn world.
Yeah, and then both, first Dean Ambrose came out and talked about, how, they decided that it was a cool idea to attack them after the main event last week, and Bray Wyatt was mad because Dolph Ziggler took away his chance at being champion, and
boo-hoo.
And then he invited Dean to run into the ring and get in a fight, and Dean's like, no, see, I could put myself in that situation, but I know it's stupid, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stand here. And then Dolph Ziggler came out and did the stupid thing, and jumped in the ring and started fighting both Eric and Bray.
Then Dean's like, God damn it, I gotta go save his ass again.
Yeah, because I don't need a broken #1 contender. So they both start fighting the Wyatt family, and then Rowan ends up getting tossed out of the ring, and at the same time, Dean turns around and gets caught in the Sister Abigail, and Dolph tries to save him, and Bray Wyatt goads him into going for the super kick, and as he does, he lifts Dean Ambrose, so the super kick hits Dean Ambrose
in the back of the head.
Right in the back of the head. So
and then he Sister Abigail's Dolph instead.
Yes, leaving both the champion and the challenger laying in the ring. They had words afterwards.
They wasn't too pleased with each other.
They were not happy with each other, and Daniel and Shane are like, well, we'll make a tag team match. We'll make you guys work together since you like each other so much.
Yeah,
and that is
whoever would have thought of the idea of putting the champion and the #1 contender as a tag team together?
There's sometimes things come along that wrestling just hasn't tapped into, and
it's such an innovative idea that's never happened before.
Well, I mean, you got two great minds like Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, who through all their years they've seen everything, but they're like, what we've never seen?
Challenger and champion teaming together, especially before a pay-per-view. I know, right? They're getting ready to go into one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year.
Boy, I hope they can work together to win this match.
That'd be weird if they did a 8-man tag before a WrestleMania or something with people going into the main event.
That doesn't make any sense. Speaking of tag team matches, we had American Alpha taking on Mikey O'Shea and Mike Vega.
The team of Mike and Mike.
Mikey and Mike. But before the match started, we had the Ascension, we had the Vaudevillains, and we had the Hype Bros all come out and decide to just hang out around ringside for the very quick squash match that was American Alpha defeating Mikey and Mike. And then there was a tag team brawl that ended with American Alpha standing tall in the ring.
Yeah. So it's cool to see Mikey O'Shea though. He's been around these parts.
I did not know him. He is not a name that I know, but you are more well aware of the local scene than I am. So yeah, interesting thing they're doing with the tag teams there. Probably setting up some hype for when they make the SmackDown tag team titles.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked if those 4 exact teams had a 4-way tag match.
At SummerSlam?
Maybe on the pre-show.
Probably not.
Well, it's the Ascension. They're usually the pre-show.
You know, you got to weigh the jobbiness of the Ascension to the unbelievable overness of American Alpha. Does that find a balance to get to the main card?
No, I don't think so, because you
just
also
have
have the vaudevillains who I hear are just not in good standings backstage.
Yeah.
And then you have the Hype Bros, which now that Mojo Rawley is leached onto Zack Ryder's main rosterness,
Yeah.
I feel like that's just going to drag him way back down to the undercard where he was prior to WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, I guess, that makes sense. That's unfortunate.
There's a lot of undercard happening,
Yeah.
and then American Alpha's trying to, swim. Everybody's clinging to American Alpha.
You got Zack Ryder, Jason Jordan, and Chad Gable all up here, and then everyone else is just holding on to this rope that hangs off of the three of them.
Yeah, and they're just trying to, swim, trying to backstroke with the 24-inch Python's brother. I don't know, it's weird, but I tapped into a Hulk Hogan promo I heard one time. It's before WrestleMania 4 or 5.
Was a little bit of a random reference there, but hey.
Yeah.
It's wrestling related, we'll do it. We had an interesting interview with The Miz and Maurice where they laid on Renee's table. And that's not a euphemism. That actually happened.
I'm actually disappointed that that's not a euphemism.
Maurice was hot.
I'd pay good money to watch Maurice lay on Renee's table.
This was all trying to get The Miz to talk about how he feels about Apollo Crews, but he didn't. He talked about how he felt about Maurice.
Yeah.
Then we had Becky Lynch looking to take on Eva Marie in her spectacular debut. Becky Lynch would win via wardrobe malfunction.
Yes. Technically, they said the match just never happened.
No, I think that over the last 2 weeks, Eva is now 0-2 against Becky Lynch. Because she lost both matches by forfeit. That's my ruling. That's 2 wins for Becky.
That's sort of in the way that The Miz kept getting wins on Cena.
Yeah, exactly.
Cena just never came out and never wrestled him.
Yeah.
Because he had more important things to do.
Well, he was shooting a movie at the time, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even at that point, The Miz was still very insignificant.
True. Kind of like Eva Marie. So she runs to the back, and Becky...
one day she'll main event WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Nope.
Once they break those intergender boundaries.
No.
Come on, WWE.
Yeah,
let a dude fight a woman.
Yeah, she'll face Mojo Rawley.
Match of the year.
Gross. Becky was pissed off that now 2 weeks in a row, Eva has just left the match.
So she's like, anybody in the back, just come wrestle me now.
So Alexa Bliss comes out.
On her birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Alexa. Even though it's past now.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So Alexa and Becky, decent small match. It's good to see Alexa getting her first, on live Smackdown live match. It's good. But towards the end of the match, as Becky's making her comeback, getting ready to put away Alexa, Eva Marie is now ready to compete, and she's making her way down, and that is enough distraction to allow Alexa to hit her little choke STO thing, and then go up and hit Twisted Bliss and defeat Becky Lynch. And Eva's like, oh, well, darn, I was so ready, but next week I'm going to make my debut.
By the way, I called...
You did call the wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunction was... Because you asked how is she going to
get
get out of the match.
No, when it happened, because I knew the match wasn't going to happen, I was like, okay, how is Eva going to get out of it this week? And you legit called it before it happened. And I was happy. I was happy with an Eva Marie moment for a second. Then she left, and I was like, well, shit, now Becky Lynch is out there by herself. And then Alexa Bliss came out, and I got happy again. Then we had Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio in a very... this is obviously putting so much more attention on that shoulder, because 90% of the match was Del Rio attacking the arm. Using the post, he was running him into the barricade, he was doing arm breakers, doing his the arm breaker over the ropes, a lot of stuff like that, until Orton just started to get pissed and ended up taking Del Rio to the outside. He starts tearing the table apart. He's getting ready to put Del Rio through. Del Rio's actually in the Timekeeper's area. And as Randy Orton goes over to pick Del Rio up, Del Rio swings a chair, gets himself disqualified, then continues to beat on a little bit, tosses him in the ring, and as he goes to pick up the chair and use it again, he gets hit with an RKO out of somewhere.
I just figured it out.
Huh.
If Lesnar wins against Orton at SummerSlam, it's going to be because of the Kimura.
Because it's the only way Randy Orton can't hit an RKO.
Well, no, it would make perfect sense if Orton's coming back from a shoulder injury and wrestlers like Del Rio keep repeatedly targeting Orton's shoulder, keeping it weak. That gives Brock Lesnar something to do other than 9,000 German suplexes.
He'll probably still do 9,000 German suplexes, though.
But I'm also certain that Orton could probably find a way to RKO out of a Kimura.
Yeah, you can do it.
There's not a move he couldn't RKO out of.
I'm really hoping Randy wins that match.
I went to a house show one time and I watched him RKO out of a pedigree.
What, really?
Yeah.
You lie.
We've been to the same house shows.
I know. Yeah, you've been to more than I have.
I've been to one more than you.
Yeah. We did see him RKO out of a curb stomp, though.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania.
We were there.
We had Heath Slater try and...
Cephalmania.
Yeah, Cephalmania. We had Heath try and talk Rhino into helping him out because he's got
kids and an above ground pool.
Yeah, he's got 4 kids and he just bought a new pool and he's like, come on, man, I just need some help.
Raising his 6 kids.
Yeah, I mean 10 kids is just there's so many and Rhino's like, well, what type of pool do you have? He goes, I have a very nice above ground pool. And Rhino's like, I can't help you. And so
at least he considered it.
Yeah, no, Rhino is going into politics. Congratulations to Rhino for winning.
He won his primary.
Yeah, so
he's. I don't want to get too political, but I'm not 100% on board the Rhino train.
Well,
he's a Republican.
Well, Rhino might not give you an option. He might just put you on that train because he can, because he's Rhino. Just like
he could physically pick me up and put me on a train.
Yeah. Just like he physically destroyed Heath Slater. Heath Slater almost got the win.
Heath Slater got more offense than I expected.
He had a good showing, and then he got caught trying to use the ropes to
My favorite part was the referee. When the referee first saw the legs, he's just like, "Hey!"
And Heath kept trying to put his foot up like the ref didn't see, and then the ref stopped counting, and then he gets up and he's like, "What are you talking about? You help me out here. I was betting you need to count the 3." And then he turned around into a gore. Keep in mind, this was for a SmackDown Live contract. So, by way of the match, Heath didn't exactly get the contract. But his tenacity and his constant bugging of Shane and Daniel over the last couple weeks, they were considering giving him a SmackDown Live contract. And they were about ready to give it to him, and then he told them off and talked his way out of getting what he's been fighting for 3 weeks.
Let's see, he does the same thing this Monday on Raw.
I hope so, because it was hilarious.
#undraftable.
We had Carmella versus Natalya finally happen. Even though Natalya tried to end it the same way she did last week, Carmella saw her coming and fought back on the walkway. A decent match between the two of them. Not a whole lot to talk about. Carmella getting the win, though, being able to escape the attempt at a sharpshooter, hit the drop toe hold, and then roll into the code of silence, and getting Natty to tap out.
Yeah, I don't like that she calls it a name that has to do with the phrase silence. Because she always screams while she has the person in it.
Yeah, no, the fact that she's not covering the person's mouth or anything, and...
I'm sorry, but if it's a move where you're going to call it something silence, you shouldn't yell while you're doing it.
That's a very, very...
You're breaking the silence.
Yeah. No one ever said she was the smart one.
Yeah, also her new intro shtick is just...
Yeah, it's not as good.
It's blah. because she can't be Enzo's girl no more.
Yeah, she's trying to be Enzo without trying to be Enzo.
Yeah, no, I mean, the shtick works when she's with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
Because she just fits with their rhythm. When she's by herself, it falls flat.
Yeah, and just before she left NXT, she had a good bit where she was kind of doing the moonwalking, trash talking thing, and then she'd get to the how you doing, and everyone else would say it, and then she'd let the crowd say it, and then she'd say, I'm doing fabulous, which is good.
Yeah,
because that's
the one thing is I wish she would keep the Bada being hottest chick in the ring.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think because it's so similar to Bada Boom, Realest Guys in the Room.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they are wedging space between her and Enzo and Cass. Despite the fact that they're drafted to different shows, they're trying to make them even farther apart.
Well, and on top, Enzo and Cass are the reason Carmella has any type of fan base at all, other than the fact that she's best friends with Bayley. That kind of adds to it. But, yeah, the only reason she has any type of personality and or popularity in the company is because of Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
And with the fact that Enzo and Cass are still over AF, why not let Carmella kind of milk that a little bit and help herself out?
Yeah, and I think they're just trying to draw way too much attention on Monday Night Raw, especially if they're trying to do things by putting Enzo and Sasha Banks together.
True.
They're just trying to see how many over AF people can they smash together in segments.
Yeah.
And I think it's overkill on Monday Night Raw.
To knock off that third hour, man.
It's overkill on a show that's totally underkilling everything.
Yeah.
And
it's weird to think about it that way.
Smackdown is doing well comparatively.
Yes.
Despite not having quite as many super popular superstars.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think because on SmackDown you have Dean Ambrose, you have Dolph Ziggler, you have Randy Orton, you have John Cena, you have AJ Styles. The fact that you have those guys and you're still trying to put all of this attention on Raw, where, granted, you have Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and Enzo and Cass and Sasha Banks.
And Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, all these guys who are super popular.
Yet we hated Raw yesterday.
Yeah, and not to mention how good SmackDown was, despite the complete absence of AJ Styles and John Cena.
Yeah, no, that in its own right speaks volumes about SmackDown. Is that, yeah, we know we can get Cena and Styles, but we didn't need them to make it entertaining. Everyone did what they needed to do to make it entertaining on their own.
We got way off track from where we were just talking about Carmella.
Well,
she won. It was alright.
Yeah.
The end.
Then we went to a backstage segment where Baron Corbin was attacking Kalisto, mad at Kalisto for ruining his chances at going for the Intercontinental title.
Which, in reality, it was Apollo Crews. Let's face it, he had Kalisto up for a powerbomb, and Crews knocked them over the top rope.
But that did turn into a Rana that sent Baron Corbin out of the ring.
But it wouldn't have happened had Apollo Crews not kicked them from behind.
And in truth, if he had him up for a powerbomb, it was technically Baron Corbin's fault for getting Kalisto in the move. So Baron Corbin is just hiding his own insecurities.
Really, technically, it would be Shane and Daniel's fault because they put him in the match to begin with.
And technically, it would be WWE Creative's fault because they thought, ooh, we should have Shane and Daniel run SmackDown.
Which then it would be Vince's fault because he probably hired the people in Creative.
Which would then mean that it's Vince Sr.'s fault because he gave birth to Vince and gave him the company.
Yeah, and then it's Toot Monst's fault.
And Jim and Marvin Luther. We don't know what's happening right now. Moving on
this
to
the guy I said was a real person.
Who?
Toot Mont.
I don't know who that is.
He was a promoter that basically helped Jess McMahon get WWF on the map.
Oh. Jim and Marvin Luter's got Chris Jericho's back.
Jim and Marvin Luter is just an alias for Kevin Owens.
Ah, right. Anyway, moving on to our main event. Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose taking on the Wyatt family. A good tag team match. I like that now, this is one thing that the brand split is helping, is that I feel like the Wyatt family is getting a more fair chance at being prominent because they don't have 60 or 70 other people they have to compete with. And so I feel like they get a better spot, and even losing matches doesn't necessarily hurt them currently. I don't know exactly what it is, but
Well, I think right now losing matches isn't going to hurt them currently because they have nothing. They don't have any momentum.
True.
Like they're
other than attacking Ziggler and Ambrose after the match last week on SmackDown.
Yeah, like that's building off of the fact that they are specifically talking about Bray and Rowan.
Yeah.
Because Strowman's been over on Raw winning squash match after squash match, but like Bray, especially because he's the leader, so far in his career has no real tangible success other than winning over the fans.
True.
Like, he hasn't won a singles title.
Which boggles my fucking mind.
He's lost at both of his WrestleMania matches. Last year WrestleMania, he didn't have a match. He was just kind of made a fool of by The Rock.
And John Cena.
And he hasn't won any of his real high-profile matches yet.
Yeah.
Except for his feud with Dean Ambrose.
He's a glorified jobber.
Yeah.
And that just blew Joey Mercury's mind.
Or his load.
For those of you listening to the podcast, you have no idea what that means. Anyway, the main event tag team match was great. They didn't really play off the tension with Ziggler and Ambrose. They worked really well together as a tag team.
They put this match together to have an entertaining match.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to play the storyline out too much.
Yeah. And it was good. I think they played on an even playing field, just knowing that they needed to get rid of the Wyatts. Ziggler ends up getting knocked down. Rowan gets low bridged,
like he did in the earlier segment.
And then Bray ends up getting tossed out, and then Dean didn't think this through.
Rowan was in the ring at the time when he did the dive.
Was he?
Yeah. Because Rowan was laying down on the ring.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Like on hard camera side, and then Ziggler was laying down in the ring across ways from hard camera side.
Yeah.
And Dean tried to hop over him both on his way to the other side of the ring to hit the ropes, and then on his way back to dive out. And I think Dolph was a little bit too close to the side. If Dolph had been more centered in the ring or closer to the side where Dean was hitting the ropes, it wouldn't have affected him so bad. But Dean was a little off kilter when he tried to jump out, and he just barely made any distance at all.
Yeah, it did not.
It was like when Fabian Eichner tried that springboard spin kick.
Yeah.
Where he just like he made it like literally by the cuff of his pants.
Yeah. And so Rowan being left in the ring with Dolph ends up trying to pick him up in some sort of big slimy move that he's actually able to shove off. Rowan turns around into a super kick. Dolph Ziggler picks up the win over Eric Rowan. Him and Dean Ambrose celebrate, and then Ambrose gets revenge for the earlier super kick by dropping Dolph Ziggler with the Dirty Deeds.
How dirty were those deeds?
So dirty because they're from Dirty Dean Ambrose.
Dirtiest of deeds.
This has been a weird SmackDown rundown, but it's okay.
It has been. It's just we're letting out all the emotion we could have had with Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, no, we feel like we can talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
So thank you for those that have been watching and listening.
Yeah, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
And be sure to check out all the links down in the description. You get updates to videos, you get pictures, you got the podcast,
all of our social media accounts are down there, and we'd like to talk with you. That's why I ask you to comment during the end of every
Thank you for those that
video.
have. We appreciate the conversation. I might be a little snarky sometimes, but it's nice that we've had conversations now. I appreciate that. Brittany is always commenting. We appreciate
Brittany,
that.
you're a friend.
Yeah.
If you were in the area, we'd have you on as a guest.
And she's following me on Twitter now. So
nice. Follow me on Twitter. Is my Twitter down there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All of our social media is down there. Also, thanks to WrestleCrate for retweeting our August unboxing the other day. We appreciate that. The official box. You can find that not only
It's technically
here
the unofficial box of the Wrestling Rundown.
Well,
We don't have a deal yet, so
it's officially the one that we're unboxing on here.
yes.
But if you want to check out those unboxing videos, you can now find them at Reasonable Wrestling Fans. That link is down in the description as well. That's our YouTubier side of the rundown.
Yeah, the YouTubier, not review-tubier.
Yes.
Where you get to watch us do all sorts of less than just us sitting on the couch kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Thomas Wolfe is on there. He rants about Golden Truth.
Yeah.
That was one of the first videos we ever posted.
We have our first edition of the Fantasy Warfare.
We have our reaction video to watching TNA's The Final Deletion.
And now our most recent WrestleCrate unboxing video.
More videos to come.
Indeed.
Also, post in the comments if you want to see specific, like, YouTube-esque videos on there.
Challenges.
The challenges or the other things that you see other
Games.
YouTubers do. If you want to see us do these things, let us know
Or
which ones specifically.
Or if there's something specifically you do want to see, let us know that as
Even
well.
if it's not a YouTube thing. If you just want to see fucking us chop each other, or if you want to see us review older pay-per-views or something. Just not, don't tell us to go do the Raw review over there.
No. For those of you that do want to see the Raw review, you can...
It's in the playlist.
Yeah, it's in the playlist. It's only 8.5 minutes long. Don't watch it.
It's on SoundCloud as well, isn't it?
Yeah, don't listen to it.
It was disappointing this week.
Yeah.
But it's like every week we get the Raw review, the SmackDown rundown, the
SmackDown
midweek wrap
rundown.
up. But the indie news is first, actually.
Yes.
Indie news, Raw review, SmackDown rundown, midweek wrap up every single week
And the
on the
midweek wrap
playlist
up-
and in the SoundCloud.
And the midweek wrap-up's coming up next. We'll be having the first couple matches of the second round in the CWC following that.
Yeah, which CWC is exclusively here only on YouTube, so you have to subscribe and check it out in the playlist. And then we're going to have, the last month's top 5
July top
as
5.
picked by Travis Colt.
Travis's top 5. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Wrestling didn't suck today.
Yeah!
Fuck Mojo Rawley, though. He was still on SmackDown.
Son of a bitch.
Fat fuck. No hair.